What's your intro song, by the way?
Something for Pitbull, obviously.
What's up, everybody? Today I am super excited to have just an amazing guy on Longhorn Diaries. He is my friend. He's my teammate on the SG Front Forks MS Bike Tour mountain bike fundraising team. I've played hockey with him. We've been family friends with this guy for a very long time. And in September of last year, he absolutely crushed it with his 90-kilometer Ultra Revival fundraising campaign. He ended up raising over $20,000 for the MS Society of Alberta through running over 90 kilometers in the trails in the Hinton backcountry. Today, he's on Longhorn Diaries to tell you his story as to what he was thinking, why he did this amazing feat, and a little bit of his story. I hope you enjoy. Hi, this is Travis Hawryluk with Remax Preferred Choice, and this is Longhorn Diaries. I'm going to be bringing you everything you need to know about the real estate world and more, all from the cab of my truck. Hello everybody, and welcome to this edition of Longhorn Diaries. Today I am joined by my good friend, Mr. Joshua Barrett. Josh, say hi.
Hey, everybody.
So Josh and I have known each other for how long now, Josh? Probably
Quite a long time. Probably 20-ish years.
Yeah, probably 25 years. And Josh and I go way back. We're family friends. We've played hockey together.
Yep.
And Josh is also a teammate on the SG Front Forks MS Bike Tour fundraising team. And he is on the show today because he did something pretty incredible last year. It was very inspiring, it was motivating, and he raised a ton of money for the MS Society. He started a campaign called the 90-kilometer Ultra Revival.
Yes, I did.
Josh, tell us all about that. How did that get started?
Well, 20 years ago, I was involved in a motor vehicle accident that resulted in a broken pelvis, broken back, broken ankle, and kind of really lucky to be alive. And so, being 20 years, I kind of thought, I wanted to do something for myself to kind of signify, hey, there's lots of doubt on what I could or couldn't do after my accident, and I wanted to, one, show myself that I've come a long way and I can still do pretty much anything I want to do if I set my mind to it. And two, I wanted it to unselfishly not be for me. I wanted to do something for someone else. So I came up with doing this 90-kilometer backcountry run through Hinton to raise money for the MS Society.
That is absolutely fantastic, and the backcountry trails in Hinton are nothing flat. They're not easy. They're quite challenging.
Yeah, they were quite challenging. There's a lot of incline and tight trails. Sometimes you got to watch out for tree nuts on the trail, but
That's an inside joke, by the way.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, I have a nut allergy to certain nuts, and some of those nuts made it into cookies on the snack bar throughout the run. But luckily, we escaped without any incident, and were able to continue on running.
So, Josh, some people might call you crazy. You said, "Hey, everybody, I'm going to raise $20,000." And I'm going to run 90 kilometers through the backcountry of Hinton, no matter what. What did you do for training, both physically and mentally?
What did I do for training? Well, I figured that the best way to train for it was just to run a lot. And so that's essentially what I did. I just, starting in March of 2019, I just came up with a plan that saw me The first week was maybe I ran 10 to 15 kilometers collectively, and each week I would slowly up the kilometers that I was running. And as I was running too, I would look at, if it was hills were really killing me that week, then the next week I would do more hills, and just kind of worked on my fitness and cardio as I saw fit. So where I saw holes, I would work on it, and just, eventually got up to the point where I was doing training runs that were 50, 60 kilometers in one day kind of thing.
Wow.
So that, kind of test my body and see how it handled the long duration of running.
And from a mental side, did you ever think, Josh, I am crazy. Why are you doing this? Should I quit? Should I shut down the whole campaign? How did you stay together mentally? Because I'm sure it took a toll on you, your family. It was a time commitment.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a time commitment to train for these ultra running events. Because every free moment you have, you're running or doing something to do with running, whether it's stretching or running, or sometimes it's just taking a day of rest too, right? So very thankful that my family was patient with me, with 2 young kids. My wife helped me out a lot in that regard, so not possible without that kind of support. But
Shout out to Liz.
Right? Yeah, thanks, Liz. But, essentially the mental aspect of it, I think the biggest part is before deciding to do the run is where it's a lot of a test, right? Like, you kind of go back and forth with yourself on, is this a good idea? Can I actually do this? If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So I had to make sure that I was mentally prepared to do what it takes to complete the run.
Yep.
And so once I personally decided that I was going to do it, then, it's just about finding a way to do it. Everyone has different ways of coping with everyday stress. Everyone has different ways of dealing with training and all that kind of stuff. So it's really just kind of going through it and finding what works for you and what doesn't work, and, being open to what others have to say about the training too. Because there's lots of information out there. Like, you could spend every waking minute reading about how to train.
Yeah.
But I found personally the best way to do it is to get out there and, try it, see how it works. And if it works, keep it. If it doesn't, move on and keep going from there.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. It's about making a decision that you're going to do something and letting the rest unfold naturally.
Yeah.
Because if you just make a decision that you want to do something, sometimes the minor details just don't matter. They'll always work themselves out. And being a little bit stubborn, you just kind of made that happen.
Yeah, like stubborn, determined. It's a very fine line, right? But
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, a lot of people, like a lot of my close friends, like, as soon as they heard, they were like, well, he's obviously going to run 90 kilometers, because they're like, he'll find a way, might not run it, maybe he'll have to crawl a little ways, but he'll get 90 kilometers in one day. And, like, I appreciate that I felt good to hear that people know that I'm that determined when I set my mind to it. So, you just kind of push through it.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, let's fast forward a little bit.
Oh.
So Josh has been fundraising, he's been training, he's been keeping himself on pace to run the 90 kilometers in Hinton in the backcountry. Let's fast forward to the day of.
Yeah.
Why don't you bring us through a little bit from start to finish, the day of?
So we go down the day before to kind of like do some last minute recon on the trail, do a few markings so that the support crew knows where to turn, because myself and a few select members of the support team were very familiar with the trail, but there's other people that weren't so familiar, so we wanted to kind of avoid any hiccups logistically that way. So we did a kind of run through of the course and showed everyone where the checkpoints are and approximately what time we'll be coming through each of the checkpoints. Then big carbo load meal the night before, and
So pizza or no pizza the night before?
No pizza. We just went with the old classic pastas, right? But, got it in me, and then essentially I just wanted to go to bed, pretend to sleep, and get up and get it over with, like get going. Like at that point, it's at the stage where all you want to do is get out there. You've been training all spring and summer for this, and now you just want to go and do it. So, kind of went to bed early, kind of not. One of those things where I slept, but I don't think I slept as soundly, and mostly just kind of like all I did that night was like run through my head, like, do I have my gear packed for the morning? Do I have all my stuff packed for the support crew? Like, is everything lined up? Because the last thing I wanted was to be halfway through or a quarter through and be missing something that I needed to go on and not be able to go on because I didn't pack something.
Yeah.
So power through, get everything going. 4:30 in the morning rolls around.
4:30.
Yeah, 4:30. Actually, we got up at 4 and started running at 4:30. Because I guess that it would take between 13 and 15 hours of running to complete. And so my goal was to start in the dark with the hopes that we could finish in the daylight.
Right.
Knock on wood. Best plans, right? And so we get going, and actually I don't know how many people know. I think there's only one person that knows this, but leading up to the event, which was on September 6th, I kind of hurt my foot in August, and so for like 3 weeks before the event, I didn't run. I just kind of worked on stretching the tendons and muscles in my foot in hopes that I would be able to run. And so that was also weighing on my mind pretty heavily too. Okay. Is that
I think that's news to me.
I might not be able to finish because of some tightness and soreness with my foot. But
right.
As the day went on, my injury never flared up and never caused any issues, so that was a good thing.
Really good thing.
Yeah, we were able to continue on through the 92 kilometers, but made it through and went from there.
So 4:30 you started running. That was the planned time, or was that because you couldn't sleep?
No, that was the planned time to be up and running at 4:30. Just to we had to run along one of the secondary highways for, it was 500 meters, maybe a kilometer.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to kind of hit that spot in the morning too before any traffic picked up, because it was a weekday that we were running. Just to avoid, we had enough support runners with us and riders that I didn't want to put anyone's life in jeopardy on the highway for this. So wanted to be up and going early so that we could miss some of these high traffic spots,
right,
and then continue on the trails and continue through the day, making everything go as smooth as possible.
So you're running, we've started, you're well on your way. Was there a time, and if so, when did you think to yourself, wow, this is going to be a long day, or this is hard, or worse off, I don't know if I can do this?
Well, there was only one time that the doubt kind of crept in, and it wasn't that I couldn't do it. It just, for whatever reason, about 25-30 kilometers in, just kind of, they call it bonking in the running world. Don't ask me to define what that means, but essentially just felt like my feet weighed 1,000 pounds and could barely move. But I was moving, but it didn't feel like I was moving. And so one of those things where in the moment you don't quite realize it, but as you're training for the ultra running, you hear about it from everyone, you read about it. So I figured it would be something that you would pick up on really easily. But surprisingly, as I was going through it, it probably took me an hour to realize that I was in that stage.
Okay. And
so as I started to realize that's what was happening to me, then I just kind of upped my fluids and had some extra snacks to get the energy levels back up.
Right.
And then as I kind of came back to full energy, I was able to, realize, and I looked at the guys that were riding with me through that section. I was like, was it that obvious? And they're like, yeah, it was really obvious, but we're just gonna let you struggle through it. And I was like, well, thanks. Right, but that's a testament too to like the support crew that I had. Like, they all knew that I could do it, and they knew that, I'd find a way to make it work. And so they weren't worried, like, when they saw issues with me or saw things that I needed to do. They were very good at bringing it up to me and telling me, hey, you need to drink some more water, or you need to have some more snacks. But they never, like, pulled me aside and said, hey, you need to do this or you're going to stop, or hey, do you need to stop, kind of thing. It was all on my terms, and they were just there to offer help when they could.
Right.
At no point in the run did I ever think to myself, I can't do this.
Awesome.
And as well, it went by so fast for me. Like, I'm sure for everyone else that was there supporting or cheering, like, it was a long day.
Yeah.
But for me, like, it started and it ended, it seemed like 2 hours. Like, it went so fast.
Right.
Which, I mean, in my mind, that's a sign that I had a really good time.
Yeah. Which is important. Which is important.
But you're thinking, like, how do you have a good time running 90 plus kilometers? And, like, for me, running's therapeutic. So, like, essentially, I relived my life for the past 20 years in that 90 kilometers, like, everything I've been through, how it affected me, what I learned from it, how I use that to be a better person, a better friend, a better husband, better brother, a better son, all that kind of stuff. And, that's, I don't know, you can't, I don't know what word I'm looking for.
It's all good. I know what you mean. So, throughout the day, as you're running, did you find it more of a mental challenge or physical challenge, in the sense of continually staying on top of your food intake, keeping enough energy? Or is it self-talk? What was your biggest hurdle throughout the run during the day?
The biggest hurdle is trying to consume enough calories or energy, whichever side of the coin you're on that one. Because as you're running, like, the biggest thing you run into is the energy, right?
Right.
And for me, there's a lot of times where, like, I didn't want to eat, and I'm sure if I didn't eat, as I was forced to, quote unquote, I'm sure I would have had a lot more struggles, but thanks to the support team, really enforcing that at the checkpoints. Maybe you're not going to eat a whole hamburger patty, or maybe you're not going to eat, I don't know what else we have, a whole cookie or something like that. Yep. But you're going to, like, you have to eat something, and you have to continue to consume the calories.
Right.
And so, I mean, if someone's there to help you, that's the best thing. And then you just have to monitor. And my system was that every, like, 45 minutes to an hour, we had to consume something.
Right.
Didn't matter what it was. You just have to be putting something in that's going to turn into energy for your body, so that you're not turning your body on yourself. I mean, the last 10 kilometers, which probably took the longest, the wheels fell off a little bit. But I think at that point, like, your body is essentially a shell. Yeah. And you're just willing it to keep going. Yeah. Right? Like,
and you're going to finish. You're absolutely going to finish. Whether you have to crawl over the finish line.
Yeah. Like for instance, there's a creek that we had to cross. And so in the morning, when I was feeling all full of energy and pumped with adrenaline, I took my shoes and socks off, walked through, and then coming back, as we're trying to figure out how we're going to go through and stay somewhat dry, I just decided, while everyone's talking, I just walked through hip deep, got soaking wet, and just kept going. Because I was like, well, like, at this point, I don't really care. I just want to get done. And if we stand here long enough, I might stop moving. Yeah. That's not going to be good for me. Yeah. So, yeah.
Awesome. Now we can tell so many stories throughout the day, but let's get to the end of the night. From about 10 kilometers on, let's talk about you crossing the finish line, because that was the most memorable point of the campaign, of the fundraising drive. It was I was very fortunate to be part of the finish line. And why don't you walk us through that, about how you felt, what your thoughts were? You could barely walk. Tell us about the finish line and the feelings that you had by accomplishing the 90-kilometer ultra revival.
Oof. Do I need Kleenex? No, like, relief, I guess, comes to mind, but not in the typical sense of the word. Like, I wasn't like, oh my god, I'm so glad to be done. I was so glad and relieved. Like, I set this goal. It was a lofty goal, and lots of people looked at me sideways for doing it, but I knew that I wanted to push the envelope for this, and so being able to push the envelope and complete it was, you know, the relief of like, hey, I was able to do that. And 20 years ago, like, they didn't know if I was going to be able to walk, and I just ran 90 kilometers, and not 90 kilometers on a flat road, like 90 kilometers up and down mountain hillside, right? So relief, yeah, like seeing my family at the finish line too. You know, my son's there, he's helping shake the champagne, which coincidentally every time we run a race now, we have to have pretend champagne to spray on the winner. Like, it was emotional, right? Like, you just completed something that not very many people are willing to do, let alone try and do.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, super relieving. You know, was I going out to run again the next day? No.
But yeah, that finish line was a moment that I'll personally never forget, and I can imagine the same for you and your family.
Yeah.
So Josh, your story, your campaign of the 90-kilometer ultra revival is an inspiration. It's a motivation to all of us to do more, to stretch our boundaries, to go beyond the barriers of what a human is able to do, especially for non-runners like us.
Yeah.
It's an incredible story. What are the top things that you can say to our audience today if they're sitting there watching this and saying, hey, I want to do something big, I want to prove something, I want to fundraise? What's the number one thing that you can tell someone that is looking to accomplish something big in their life?
Well, you know, like, so it won't matter if you're looking to fundraise or just complete some sort of goal. It doesn't even have to be like a physical challenge. Like, at the end of the day, if someone wants to do something and they want it bad enough, you just, like, no matter what people tell you, if you want it bad enough, just do it. Like, it doesn't matter what other people think, what other people say. You know, don't worry about what other people think. If you want it, do it. And you know what? Sometimes you're gonna fall down, and that's okay. Like, you're either gonna realize it's not for you, or you're gonna find a better way to do it. So always trust your gut. Never back down. If you want it, go get it. Don't listen to other people. And like, if you're looking for fundraising and all that kind of stuff, like, instead of saying why you can't do something, like, ask yourself, why can you not do it? You know, instead of finding reasons to not do it, like, find the reasons to do it, and it comes back to, if you want it bad enough, just go do it, kind of thing.
Well said, well said. And Josh, if people want to check out some old photos or check out your previous blog, where's the best place for them to maybe go view your 90-kilometer ultra revival? Are you on Instagram or on Facebook?
I'm on both, at 90K Ultra Revival. And some of the videos are also on YouTube. If you search 90K Ultra Revival, you'll find them there. That's pretty much it. I haven't really been on the social media for the event too much since we've posted all the final stuff. But looking to start maybe doing some posts here in the next couple weeks or month, as we'll be helping some other people raise some money for MS in 2020.
Awesome. Well, that's it for now. Josh, thank you very much for joining me on this edition of Longhorn Diaries. And one last question for you.
Yes, sir.
Josh, where are we going?
Right now? Crazy?
Back to Costco parking lot?
I'm going back to Costco.
That's it for Josh and I. Until next time, thanks for watching. See you later.
See ya.
Pretty much like that, like my finger. That's why it's not coming.
All right, Joshy.
I put it in my backpack.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Do you have time for a quick interview?
So,
Let's go, Joshy.
but
We got John here from Global News.
how you feeling? You've got 39 kilometers under your belt here. How are you feeling?
Possibly all of the moments.
Do you want to dummy this?
Actually, it's 41 3/4, but who's counting?
Oh, do you feel like that GPS is actually accurate though?
Well, that's all we got, so we got to believe that it is. But I'm feeling good, you know, everyone's contributing. It takes the team, and yeah, I don't know, it's still grinding. It's awesome.
That's good. How's the anaphylactic shock feeling?
Good, yeah, we'll have to talk about that. Obviously somebody didn't read the memos. Maybe it was in the Excel sheet.
Go close here for you.
What do you need? Water. Okay.
You
Can I
got
mix
water right
you-
there, and you got a Coke right there.
Is that amino good, Josh?
Hey, Dad.
Yeah, I'll have one of those too.
How you
Is this my
going?
shipping?
Yes, I believe so. Do you want?
Well,
Just,
you know,
just ran that off, hey?
it's just another, yeah, just another thing to kind of beat through and overcome. So. Yeah, thank you.
Well, we'll let you get back to your run, get some food in you. Good luck.